thing I like about the Red Bar is not they don't try to overwhelm you with the price. It's fairly reasonable. For down there.
But yeah, the best restaurant to me down here is the Italian Barago. That's my wife and I's favorite. We love it.
What do you like to order?
Oh, I mean, other than that, I got eggplant lasagna with 2 meatballs. But they have great grouper. The best product calamari down here by far.
I'm not that crazy about calamari.
Any of their pastas are amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like plain old out spaghetti. Can you get plain old out spaghetti?
Yeah, you can get that kind of pasta. But there's AJ's Graydon Peach. AJ's is out of Destin, but they've opened a location in Graydon, so a lot of people know that's a late night nightclub. Stays open until 3 in the morning.
But the food's pretty good too, though, isn't it? Do they serve food?
Yeah, it's not bad.
They don't serve food that late, do they?
It's about 12:30, 1 o'clock, I think.
So that's a late night place to go.
One of the best places down here now, though, is walking distance. Is as far as fried shrimp and fish. Graydon Seafood Company is great, and they have a bluegrass band and they have outside seating, so a lot of people go there every night.
Where's it located, Mike?
It's right past Moraga.
All right, so it's on down the street, but it's in walking distance, pretty much, of where you are.
Yeah, and then there's Clara Eatery. You've been there before with the big sandwiches. And,
yeah, that's a good place. Tell them about some old sandwiches, Mike, that's unique.
I mean, it's just anything you can think of. Fried green tomato sandwiches, BLTs, Reubens, Philly cheesesteaks. They make all their breads from scratch. Make all their soups.
What's that
really
place
good.
again?
Tell them the name of it again.
Clara Eatery.
Yeah. Now, what is it that's unusual that they stack so high?
That's the Reuben.
Yeah, the Reuben sandwich there. About how high is it stacked? Probably
Reuben
6, 7 inches.
Yeah. It's got sauerkraut on top of it, and it's got some people do Thousand Island dressing, some people do Russian dressing on a Reuben.
Yeah, but they're famous for that Reuben, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's their signature dish. Everybody has one.
But now, how about for breakfast, though? It's very few places for breakfast in that area.
Well, the most popular place is Black Bear Bagel, where it's got the best bagels down here, and the cinnamon roll as big as your head. But it's always got a line out the door. So there's a place next to a great seafood company called Crayon that used to be another Broken Egg, but somebody bought it out, turned it into a restaurant called Cracky's.
Now, another Broken Egg was a great place to eat breakfast. Have they shut down?
Well, they bought them out. And,
okay.
And they opened a new concept called Cracky's. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's good.
They had another broken egg in Montgomery at Zelda Place for a while.
Yeah, there was several down here, but there's a lot of donut holes that a lot of people go to down here that has breakfast and donuts and everything. And then they're starting to open up those. They had them in Birmingham called First Watch, another breakfast place.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know.
I liked Denny's. Montgomery's used to have a Denny's, might still have one, and then Shoney's always had a great breakfast bar.
Oh yeah, the Shoney's buffet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a Shoney's original Shoney's, an original concept of Shoney's is down there in the shopping center.
Really?
That Pier Park.
We had a Shoney's
Shoney's
in Troy for a long time.
Yeah,
Not
still
very
have that
long,
buffet.
Well, for maybe about 10 years, maybe. I ate there all the time.
Yeah. Tell us what's going on, my friend Forrest Lee and the news.
I didn't get to start the show, but UCLA proved they're a lot better than everybody thought, didn't they?
They
I know
sure
it
did.
Can you believe how low scoring that was? 51-49. Mm-hmm. What happened to Michigan?
Boy, Michigan just looked so athletic when I watched them against Florida State.
I did too. I would have picked Michigan.
Well,
Free throws. Got them
Michigan
again.
was an 8-point favorite.
Somebody picked UCLA on this set.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you sure picked the right one.
Free throws got them.
That might have made.
Here's why I didn't. I said that the Pac-12 is the dominant team in the tournament. UCLA's been on an obvious hot streak and got Big Mo. They beat a very good Alabama team. So I said go with them again.
Well, we're going down the stretch now. We've got us a Final Four.
Yeah, Gonzaga whooped Southern Cal 85-66.
And they look good. Boy, they look good. I watched that game, and man, boy, Mike, I've never seen a team get the ball down court as quick as Gonzaga. I mean, buddy, when they get it off the board, they're sprinting for their goal.
Will say that the experts seem to be right because all of them seem to say it was Gonzaga versus the field, so they knew what they were talking about so far.
Probably
that's a few people have been to Spokane, Washington. I've been about 10 miles, 15 miles from there.
Yep.
I used to live out in Portland for a little while, but it's a pretty place.
I've been there in Spokane, and when I woke up that morning, it was 9 degrees.
Wow.
Me and my daughter Rebecca went out to see Troy play in the bowl game. I mean, not bowl game, but against Idaho.
Yeah. Well, Saturday at
you know what the name of the town, guys, real quick, in Idaho that I went to. Do y'all know?
It's not Boise, is it?
No, not Boise.
No, he went
Moscow.
to
Moscow. I've been to Russia. Moscow.
You've been to Moscow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on Saturday at 4:14, number one seeded Houston will play a number one Baylor. They're seeded as a number one. They'll play number 2 seeded Houston. So that's the Battle of Texas.
So they've got it set up to have a
Baylor versus Houston.
Baylor though versus
Houston.
not Houston,
The
but Gonzaga.
only 2 teams I got left on my bracket are Baylor and Gonzaga. Yeah. I got Gonzaga winning it.
Then
I've got Baylor and Gonzaga.
At 7:34, UCLA versus Gonzaga, and UCLA is the 11th seed, and are they the only play-in seed to be
to ever
in the
make
Final
it?
Four?
Yeah, to ever make it.
To make the Final Four. So
yeah, I mean, if you think about what they've done, it's been incredible. I mean, they've now won 4 games.
And they win the close. They win the close games.
They win a play-in game. They win a first-round game. Then they win a third-round game, fourth-round. So they won 5 games. Is that right?
You mean I forgot all about it? You mean UCLA was a play-in?
yes.
Oh man, that's never happened. I don't believe.
Yeah, it's one of these weird play-in games where the winner gets to be seeded 11th, and they beat Michigan State in overtime, just like they beat Alabama.
Yeah.
So they could have lost that one, and Alabama could have played maybe Michigan State instead of UCLA.
They'll play for the marbles at 8 o'clock, and all this is Central Standard Time because they're playing in Indianapolis, and the women are playing in San Antonio. That's going to be number one.
Who's it coming down to? The women?
Stanford will play Southern. Is that Southern Cal? No, South Carolina. Stanford versus South Carolina, and then UConn will play Arizona. That's on Friday night at 6 and 9:30 p.m. And Sunday they'll play the championship at 6 p.m. This Sunday.
Yeah. Course,
Auburn's taking a long time to hire a women's basketball coach. So I guess maybe Troy's going to keep Coach Rigby.
Have they picked anybody yet?
No, I mean, didn't you say on the show that they were waiting to interview a Connecticut assistant?
Oh yeah, that's right. They were waiting to that was one of the people that they are interviewing, the assistant coach at UConn. Of course, UConn is by far the best women's program in the country.
Troy could play a home and home with UConn in football every year. I'd like our chances.
Yeah. You mean in football?
In football, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to practice a little bit Saturday, and I thought they looked pretty good. The new quarterback from Missouri looked real good. Nice kid. I talked to him for about 10 minutes during practice, and he's a real likable kid. I mean, he's the kind of kid that always moving around the whole practice, shaking hands and letting those guys know that, hey man, he's their quarterback in that respect.
Jumping back to UConn's coaching staff, Chris Daly is the associate head coach. Shay Ralph is an assistant coach, and Jamel Elliott is an assistant coach.
Yeah.
And
I don't know exactly which one.
Those are UConn. Those are the 3 coaches probably.
Of course, their head coach is a legendary figure in
Gino.
girls basketball.
Gino Ariemo.
Yeah, exactly.
How many national championships has he won there? He's won
He's won 8.
I wonder why they pay him, Mike. I wonder why.
I would imagine
See if
a
you
lot.
can find out why they pay that a girls coach.
You know, Johnny Dang scored 28 points for UCLA, so they scored 51 points in the game, and one guy scored 28. He's the guy that transferred from Kentucky, and I don't know if y'all remember, but he fouled out early against Alabama the other night.
Yeah.
God, 28. He only 23 other points came from the whole rest of the team. That is some stat.
We've got a great show this morning, Mike. We've got Johnny Williams. We're going to call Johnny Williams and talk to him, so all of us can talk. Several questions that can be asked Johnny. Gosh, he's so involved in so many different things. We're going to take a short break in a moment. We hope to have Johnny Williams on the phone.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Starting April 1st, all your local county and school board meetings will be moving to BBTV Channel 17. Catch Pike County Commission, Troy City Council, and school board meetings live on Facebook, YouTube, and BBTV, brought to you by Troy Cable.
We're back live.
Back to our show, and what do you guys handle it while I get this right here?
Well, we're calling Johnny Williams, longtime athletic director at Troy, and now an executive in the sports marketing and administration world. He runs several bowl games for ESPN, among other hats he wears.
Charles Henderson Baseball will host Greenville tomorrow at 7 o'clock. In Hogan's Hole, that's an area game, and then they'll travel to Greenville to play a doubleheader in another area showdown against Greenville. And Pike Liberal Arts will play Lee Scott next week in Auburn. High school softball, Charles Henderson will host Andalusia this coming Monday. And Pike Liberal Arts will travel to Autauga Academy this Monday at April the 5th. Be sure to go by and see the Lady Trojans host Georgia Southern this weekend on Friday night at 5, and there'll be a doubleheader on the campus of Troy University starting at 12 noon on Saturday.
Isn't it supposed to get cold?
It's going to get chilly. There's supposed to be frost on the floor the next several mornings.
Frost on the floor.
Frost on the floor. Now, you could change that to today and laid back Alabama.
Yeah, exactly.
Or lower Alabama.
Back to Mike Amos, we're trying to get a line into Johnny Williams, and hopefully we will in a few moments. Of course, we've got plenty going on this morning, Mike. We've got high school baseball, college baseball going on in a big way, and
you know what starts next week?
Major League Baseball tomorrow night.
Major League Baseball. You know what? I hadn't even thought about it. Have y'all even thought about it?
Steve mentioned it this
I love
morning.
baseball.
Have we heard any more reports on the referee that collapsed last night during the basketball game? I believe it was the first. He collapsed with about 15 minutes left in the first half. But they said that he did not go to the hospital.
I can't wait for you to hear this comment. Our buddy, the big guy from Auburn Star,
Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley was saying, "You mean they sent him back to his hotel room instead of the hospital?" And I said the same thing to myself. Yeah. I said, "Man, here the guy looks like he might have had a stroke or a heart attack, and they're sending him back to the hotel."
Well, he collapsed backwards.
Did he?
I saw the replay this morning. He collapsed backwards and hit his head on the floor.
Oh, gosh. I sure hope he's all right.
Seeing where Barry Alvarez will announce his retirement as athletic director at Wisconsin. Of course, he's a long-time coach.
The best news a football coach ever had, I promise you. Don't you know Barry Alvarez has been running that program for years? That football program, I guarantee he's been telling that football coach what to do.
Well, a lot of people think Pat Dye did that for 25 years after he was no longer coach.
Exactly.
How about Justin Fields, 6'3", 230 at Ohio State's Pro Day, ran a 4.4.
Oh boy.
Gosh.
Nick,
can you believe a quarterback that big is running a 4.4?
He is an athlete.
I'm throwing that donut by Rice.
He's messing with me. He knows I'm on my low carb diet and stuff.
I mean, do you think Kirby Smart sits back at night and just like can't believe that he made the decision to choose Jake Fromm over him?
Probably in hindsight. I understood it at the time and defended it because Fromm was doing really, really good and did do well. But, looking towards the future, it's like the dilemma that Nick Saban was under when he had Jalen Hurts and then Tua Tagovailoa shows up. How do you bench Jalen? In hindsight, he should have benched Jalen the year before.
Let me tell the folks something this morning.
Should have benched him before the Auburn game when Alabama got blown out.
Yep.
Let me tell you something this morning. Troy's got a all right, tell me the grocery stores Troy has.
Okay. Piggly Wiggly, food, Publix.
Yep. All right, Publix thinks Publix does have a bakery. They can go ahead and Walmart has a bakery, isn't that right? Mm-hmm. And then the Trojan bakery on the bypass, what are they called?
Trojan Donuts.
Trojan Donuts is as good a donuts as you're going to find anywhere in this part of the country. Delicious donut holes this morning. And you take the donut hole out of this little white bag, and you look at it a little bit, and then you go ahead and place it in your mouth.
And it melts.
Then you start...
and then you try to see if you can eat just one.
Oh, it's so good. Nick, buy some donut holes and take them to the office, and they'll do a lot better job of studying law this morning.
Don't you love people like Forrest?
The famous commercial, Mikey Likes It?
Mikey will eat the whole sack if you don't like
cereal.
People like Forrest that bring you donuts, but then we've all worked at places where somebody brings in a dozen Krispy Kremes or whatever, and that's mighty nice and appreciated.
Well, today is Be Kind to Forrest Lee Day. Look at his hair; it's growing back.
And a little fuzzy.
Think about it. It looks like it's growing back white, just solid white.
Hey, I reckon so. Well, better gray than loose. Turn gray, but don't turn loose, please.
Forrest, and see the thing about it, ladies and gentlemen, everybody on this show is they're on a diet. And somebody's got to eat these donuts. Steve, he won't even eat them because he thinks they're too fattening. But boy, they are good. Oh man!
I don't think Steve's ever had to be on a diet.
I gave up fried food and bread for Lent, and Lent ends on Sunday on Easter, so I'm excited about that.
Oh really? Were you true to it or what?
Well, I'm doing diets too, but I mean, I try to give up something for Lent every year, and I knew I was going on a diet, so I decided to do bread and
well, let me ask you
this.
Food,
but let me just say this: fried food is a lot tougher than bread.
Now, what do you mean?
Giving up fried food?
Giving up fried food is really tough for somebody like me.
Yeah. Me too.
Well,
everywhere we go, Rice knows he's got little kids. These little kids want fried. They want fried shrimp. They want fried chicken fingers. They want French fries. They're always just right in front of my face.
My kids eat hardly nothing, especially Maggie. But Jack eats a little more. And I added one thing to his repertoire last night: fish sticks, fried fish sticks. And I saw them in the grocery store. And I said, "Dang, I used to eat those all the time growing up."
I know it. Yeah.
And Jack looked at them and said, "Yeah, I'll try those." And he loved them.
Yeah. You remember those little jarred Vienna sausage that babies you get your small kids? Well, if I was hungry and there were several in the cabinet, I popped one. It's like a Vienna sausage. It's probably better for you than a Vienna sausage.
You know, the only difference in these guys and me growing up, I know what a mayonnaise sandwich tastes like with pepper on it. With pepper on it.
Kool-Aid mayonnaise sandwiches.
I can remember as a very small child having ketchup and mustard sandwiches. And then
my favorite snack is a bag of Golden Flake potato chips and a bottle of 57 sauce.
Really?
I've been doing that my whole life.
What do? You just dip your chips into the Heinz 57?
Oh yeah.
I love Heinz.
I put 57 sauce or A1 sauce on my baked potatoes sometimes.
You know, just to tell you another difference in my era and the era of my children growing up.
I had some last night.
Let me tell you this. When my mama sent me up to the grocery store and said, give me 8 slices of bologna, I got excited. I got excited because I know when I got back home we're gonna have fried bologna sandwiches. And what you do, you cut a little wing off it here and a little wing of it here and one here, so it won't bubble up.
Right.
And you got bologna in that pan, that frying pan, and I was in hog heaven. If I took my bologna home and fried it for these children of mine, they would have just gone crazy.
Yeah,
Say, what are you doing? You know, and then Spam. Now, I didn't like Spam much, but a lot of people ate Spam.
I don't like
a can of Spam would have brought $20 in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody would like it, but you know, boy, they turned their nose up at bologna and pimentos.
I ate some of it growing up, but I'm not a fan of. I got a Heinz 57 story. Y'all want to hear it?
Yeah, I want to hear it.
One point in my life when I was younger, I listened to the Fox radio station in Montgomery, the rock and roll station, all the time, and they had a big summer promotion sponsored by Heinz 57, and the promotion was name the 57 ingredients of a perfect summer. So I'm a writer, and I knocked out 57 ingredients of a perfect summer. Most of them I thought were attempted to be funny and witty. And it was a weeks-long promotion, and if the winner was going to get a year supply of Heinz 57, a grill, and a day out on a boat at Lake Martin. Actually, this is fun. Of course I won it, and they called me and put me on the air, and but the funny part, I was actually living at Lake Martin at my parents' lake house at the time I won it. I was trying to write the great American novel. I was taking a little sabbatical from the newspaper business. And so the 2 disc jockeys came up to Lake Martin, and they said I can invite 2 friends. I invited Wes Gaylord and Charles Bradshaw, and we met them at the Castaway Marina and rode around Lake Martin. And then I said, this is silly. And then I said, let's go back to my lake house.
Well, the thing about it,
but that Heinz 57 was good and lasted a long time.
They should have thrown in some beef.
Yeah.
Some beef.
You know, Heinz 57, I'm going to tell you, and I think a lot of people that go way back like I do with Heinz 57, you know, they changed their whole flavor at one time. You know,
it was sweet.
You remember that, Mike?
Yeah, it was not near as good. Yeah, I remember that.
It's like new Coke.
I thought it was real good. I liked it, and but they went and changed it, and they didn't advertise it. They just went ahead and changed it.
And then they changed it back. Like new Coke.
Yeah.
Boy, people are still talking about that blunder of changing the formula of Coke.
Yeah, I don't know what Dollar General has relationship-wise with Heinz 57, but you can buy a bottle of Heinz 57 every time you go to Dollar General for $1.
That is a good deal.
I love Heinz 57.
I go to Publix, and then I go grab a bunch of coloring books and candy, and I get my 57 from Dollar General.
Well, I'm
Hey,
on.
I wish I had stock in Dollar General.
Yeah, I actually thought about buying some about 15 years ago. I predicted what was going to happen to them, but just didn't act on it.
Well, today is National Crayon Day, so you've got color
National Crayon Day, Mike. So
National Tater Day, get you a tater.
Last
my
night,
grandchildren love to draw. They love to draw.
I'm on low carb diet, and so I can't eat the breads. But I got me some hamburger patties from Piggly Wiggly, and then I go through a lot of salads, and I jazz up my salads with cheese and lettuce.
Tell us what you.
But I made instead of making the hamburgers proper, I made quote hamburger steak. I marinated them with Worcestershire, and then I just grill up a bunch of mushrooms and onions and smother them on top of that hamburger steak. Throw in some green beans, which is low carb, and you got a pretty good meal right there. And then I had some Heinz 57 with my hamburger steaks.
I always thought that if the food was available, I could probably go on a diet. But if it wasn't available, I couldn't.
The good thing about
I wasn't going to just go grocery shopping just for that.
If you have a buffet option, Atkins is really easy.
Yeah, you can find
the option.
Yeah, we had Jody cooked breakfast. We had eggs, scrambled eggs, bacon, and biscuits with a little bit of honey.
Yeah.
Ooh, good.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Now everybody knows what we ate last night.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Hi, Sandy. I'm right here. Come on in.
Daddy, I'm right here. Hello, Miss Mary. I'm right here. I'm right here.
Since 1969, we've been right here. Because at Troy Regional Medical Center, we take these words to heart.
I'm right here. Thank you.
Remarkable people, remarkable care.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa know-how. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa know-how team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Hi, Sandy. I'm right here. Come on in.
Daddy, I'm right here. Hello, Miss Mary. I'm right here. I'm right here.
Since 1969, we've been right here. Because at Troy Regional Medical Center, we take these words to heart.
I'm right here. Thank you.
Remarkable people, remarkable care.
Be kind of today is we're recognize one of the outstanding people in our community, and let me just say this, that Colin McCrary really has done a lot for not only golf but for all kinds of activities over the years. And we want, if you see Colin today, congratulate him. He has been named to the Troy University Hall of Fame. So, Colin, congratulations.
Nice big story about Colin McCrary in the Messenger this morning, and everybody gets it free this morning. So that'll be one of the stories you want to read about Colin's being.
What do you think about this article, right? You covered COVID so much. Said in AL.com, COVID-19 killed more Alabamians in 1 year than the flu did in a decade.
Oh man,
probably true.
I thought the flu killed a lot of people every year.
Yeah.
It does in some years. About 3 years ago, it killed about 61,000, and we had a bad flu year right before COVID.
Pfizer says the COVID vaccine protects kids as young as 12 years old. Also, 34 Winn-Dixies in Alabama to offer free COVID vaccines.
Is that now? Can they offer it to anybody right now? Have they got to that point yet?
It starts in Florida on the 5th. I don't know about Alabama. I don't think Alabama's decided that yet.
Winn-Dixie stores are fixing to give them, and Jody and I received our Johnson & Johnson one-shot vaccine yesterday at Dalton Pharmacy, which is located at the Sarah's doctor's office. And the only thing this morning, I'm a little bit sore in my shoulder area, maybe. And,
want to mention this morning, former Trojan golfer Colin McCrary will be enshrined in Troy University Sports Hall of Fame. McCrary will be one of 4 inductees in the 2021 Hall of Fame class. He will be enshrined in a special ceremony on Friday, September the 3rd, 2021. It's a big honor, McCrary said. I went online the other night and looked at all the other athletes and coaches that are enshrined in the Sports Hall of Fame, and looking at a list of names, it will be an honor to be a part of that fraternity. You know, of course, he graduated from Southland Academy in Americus, Georgia. McCrary attended Troy University from 1980 to 1984. Since graduating in 1984, McCrary has kept up with his and support of the Troy University golf program for 37 years. He's been a tremendous supporter.
Well, I'll tell you one thing he did
Troy athletics
that
and
I've
Troy
learned.
Golf.
It was Colin that stayed after Dr. Hawkins and Mrs. Hawkins and said we need to get a nice practice facility and beautify that area of the campus. He noted that a lot of people came into Troy from the back way over on Elm Road, and he said that, you know, the first impression you get is not very pretty. And now you've got a Troy University sign, that golf clubhouse, practice range. They finished that sidewalk project. They did away with some of the golf course, but not all of it. You know, there's several holes that the players can practice with, and I think that really enhances the beauty of that part of the campus.
They're working on the bridge and the walkway between there and the tennis courts. But Colin joins fellow Americus native, is it Chan Gailey? No, it's from Americus, Georgia,
that's
too.
Right.
So they're
that's
both.
Right. Dan Reeves came out of.
So congratulations to him and
Jerry Reeves, the great Jerry Reeves that played here at Troy years ago.
He married.
So if I was leaving Troy and going to Americus, Georgia, I don't know if I've ever been through Americus. How do you get there?
I would think you could go to Abbeville and go across there, or go to let's see, go to Columbiana. Go to Columbiana and cut across there.
His wife is
Columbiana is up near Birmingham.
Columbia.
There's another one down there in South Alabama.
Not Columbiana, but Columbia. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's basically right over the Alabama line.
Yes, exactly.
Not too
Get
far.
me Colin McCrary's telephone number. We'll call him and talk to him this morning.
I don't know if I realized Americus was that close.
Yeah, that's right. It's not that far.
He made
and of course, he married a girl from out in the middle of the. I won't say this, out in the middle of the sticks, because her mother and daddy owned a farm in the middle of Dallas County.
Connie Casey.
That's right, and boy, what a beautiful girl he found here in Troy, and of course, what a wonderful mother
and he played golf for 4 years, and I think the worst they finished was fourth in the nation in those 4 years.
Yeah, 17,000 people in America's Troy.
All right, let's see who's calling us right
Yeah,
here.
his son's on a scholarship at Wallace State Community College in
Find out
Hansfield.
who's calling us. Don't worry about Mike.
And
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Hey, Bill, Will Matthews, what you up to?
Hey, good.
Will Matthews, won't you please come home?
Let me see if I can get Michael back on. If I drop you off, call back. Let's see. All right, Michael, you with us, and this is Will has joined us.
All
talking
right,
about
so
Colin
get this
McCrary.
damn pack.
We were talking about Colin McCrary is our person of the day on the show, and he has been inducted into the Troy University Sports Hall of Fame. I'm sure you know Colin.
Yeah, tell us what your feeling is about Colin McCrary.
He was a great player. I'm sure he can beat the hell out of me now. I've gone into retirement mode with cough. My cough is gone.
But now y'all came around about the same time, didn't you, Will?
I think Colin's younger than I am.
Colin's about 58, I believe.
Yeah, okay. And Will, we got Will. Listen, y'all, we found out how old Will is. He's 63 years old. Will, there ain't no way you're 63 years old.
64.
64, okay. But
Will, the Masters is next week. I mean, I guess you get a little teary-eyed when you think that you're not going anymore. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something you're not gonna believe. You know, Bob Jones is my best friend. His grandfather started the tournament.
Yeah.
He can't go this year.
Oh my gosh!
Well, because he can't get tickets.
No, there are no tickets. The only people that are going are families of the players and the members of the club, and he's not a member of the club. How is he not a member? You have to be invited to be a member. Plus, it costs a lot of money. I mean, he's a member of Atlanta Athletic Club and Sage Valley, which is just like Augusta. It's over in South Carolina. They got a clone of Augusta.
Wow.
And he's a long time. He's a very good golfer too.
Yeah.
They have basically, he gets 8 tickets every year and he can't go. Oh, that's a shame.
Well,
why are they not opening it up when all these other tournaments have been opened up? Players was open. All these other tournaments are open. Because they're the Masters. They can do whatever they want to do, I think. They don't want people there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
They can care less.
At least we'll have a few people there. I guess it'll be the members and their families, and then all the families of the players. You'll have a few people.
How many golfers?
A lot more pressure as a golfer, though, when you have crowds following you. When you say, well, oh yeah, definitely. And the Masters. Well, look at 2 years ago when Tiger won. Those guys just started choking when they got out of the car walking into the club.
Yeah, you're right. How many players are number-wise will we have in the Masters next week?
I'd say maybe 85 or 90.
See, that's a lot of golfers. A lot of golfers.
But not near as many as most tournaments.
Every past winner gets to play automatically. Yeah. Until they're 60.
Yeah, exactly. And boy, it's going to be a lot of fun to study about who we think's going to win the Masters. Of course, Johnson, man, he looks like he's got an eye on it. Boy, if I could pick one golfer, I would pick Johnson, wouldn't you?
Well, you can pick him. You can bet on golf, and you can get odds on him. He's the favorite. 7-1 right now.
7-1. That's not bad.
Would you bet $10 and try?
I tell you, he's playing well. Speed.
Yeah.
I like Speed.
It says it's going to be 89 or 90 players.
A friend of mine, he gave me $100 to bet on him this weekend when I go to Gulfport on
Sergio Garcia. He's got 50 to win and 50 for a top 10.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Sergio looks
Sergio's
like
playing
a
I like that too.
I won money betting Sergio to finish in the top 20 of the players. That was easy, an easy one.
Now you can call in to a sport book, can't you? Can't you call in and give a bet, or can you?
I don't know.
No, you got. You know that they have sports books in Nashville, Tennessee now. Somebody told me that you can just place wagers.
Mr. Will.
Can you call in and do it? What I was wondering.
No.
Mr. Will, if you win the Texas Open, don't you qualify for the Masters?
Yes.
If you win the Texas Open this weekend.
One last chance.
And you're not already in the field, you get to go.
If you're otherwise not qualified.
Okay.
All right, tell me who you. Of course, we're coming up on the weekend, and the championships will be on. All right, correct me if I'm wrong. The championship will start on Saturday and end on Monday. Is that right?
Basketball.
Basketball. And who do you like, Will? Who do you like?
Well, Gonzaga will be in there. I'll guarantee.
I'm taking Gonzaga in a big way.
And then I think Baylor. The line's only 5 points, but I like Baylor.
Yeah. Against Gonzaga. Let me ask you something, Rice. How could you like Gonzaga? What would be the odds on Gonzaga? Probably 3-1, 5-1, or something like that.
I haven't checked it, but that'd be a heavy favorite. So no, they would be minus probably now, or
You think you have to give points?
Well, like you'd have to bet $140 to win $100.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Risk
I love Gonzaga. Man, they're a good basketball team.
What day are they? What day are they going to play?
Saturday.
They're going to play this coming. It would be this coming. Not. Well, it would be not this coming Saturday. Well, it would be. It would be this coming Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm pulling for Gonzaga because I don't think they've ever won a national championship.
No, they haven't.
Houston has not. Baylor has not.
Baylor's -5 against Houston. Gonzaga's 14 against UCLA.
Jump on UCLA right now. They're the team of destiny. I don't know if they'll win, but I bet they cover.
Yeah. Houston's 0-2 in the national championship game. Baylor's 0-1. UCLA is 10-2. Gonzaga is 0-1 in the national championship. So none of them has won a national championship with the exception of UCLA.
But Gonzaga's been one time.
Baylor's been once.
Baylor's been one time. I don't even remember when Baylor
was there in 1948. They lost to Kentucky.
I don't remember that one.
You can catch up on your history if you'll read the Messenger every day. Rice, of course, is one of the columnists that does such a wonderful job. And this week he says Coach Bradshaw played a key role in getting Joe Namath to Alabama. And he's got an article here talking about Howard Schnellenberger.
You meant to tell the story?
Yeah, tell it quick. This is History 101.
Joe Namath was going to go to Maryland, and he didn't qualify academically. At the last minute, they found out he barely missed it. And a coach at Maryland knew Charlie Bradshaw and called him and told him this news. And, of course, because he didn't want to have to play against Namath in that league in future games, told him this kid ain't qualified and told him how great he was and what they thought he could be. Coach Bradshaw immediately went to Coach Bryant and said, hey, here's what I've got. This coach says this guy is all-world. And Coach Bryant said, good deal. And he immediately dispatched another young assistant on the Alabama staff, one Howard Schnellenberger, and the quote was from a book, go get Namath. And that's exactly what Howard Schnellenberger went. He went up to Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, lived in his house for a couple of days, bounced checks while he was up there. But he came back with Joe Namath as quarterback at Alabama. But none of that would have happened if not for Coach Bradshaw.
Who was the coach at Maryland that called?
I don't know who it is. It was an assistant or the head coach. It was just.
I mean, Brian had relationships with Maryland. He used to be the head coach there.
Oh, yeah, he used to be the head coach of Maryland.
This story was told to me by members of the Bradshaw family, and I've read it in books about Namath and Bryant.
So what about Penn State, Bill? They weren't. They didn't recruit Namath.
I'm sure they did, and you know they didn't. Maryland was probably playing Penn State, and so they didn't want.
Michael, he probably couldn't get in school at Penn State.
Yeah, maybe too. That too.
And let me tell you another trivia about this is. You know, Coach Bryant wouldn't let just anybody up on his tower. You know, he had a tower or looked over his practice field, and he had his bullhorn and, you know, hollering instructions. When Namath got on campus,
which was right before the season,
the first thing he did was say, "Come on up here, son." And Joe Namath was, to my knowledge, the only guy to ever be up there with Coach Bryant.
I bet practice had already started. You know, it was very late when he arrived. And then my dad
told that young freshman to come on up here, son.
I've never heard of that again. And he, Namath was obviously going through extreme culture shock, you know, from being from integrated Pennsylvania and coming down to 1961 Tuscaloosa.
And also on our show in the future, now and in the future, is our English 101 lesson is ain't a word.
It's used all the time.
I know, but have you ever
not
heard
it's not
ain't
proper
in the dictionary?
It's probably
yeah. My wife gives me a hard time because I say "ruin" all the time.
Ruin. Wait a minute. All right. Hey, he ruined his paper.
I mispronounced
waltz. Apparently that's not a word.
Ruin.
Michael, actually, it's ruin. R-U-I-N-T. Ruin.
Ruin.
Yeah. I was wondering about that too. That's our lesson today. What?
I'll tell you something. We talk a lot about history, Alabama history. How important was it Joe Namath coming to Alabama? Well, I'll tell you how many games he lost in his 4 years. I looked it up. It was 4 games.
3 years now. He didn't play.
Well, he didn't play his first year, but he was on the team because he was a teammate of my dad's. That's one of my claims to fame.
That's right.
For 1 year, Dad was a teammate of the great Joe Namath. But undefeated in 61, 62, he was starting quarterback. And they lost 1 game in the middle of the season to Georgia Tech by 1 point.
That's right, I remember it well.
Or else that would have been a national championship team. 63.
Was that the game that Coach Bryant had to wear a helmet? Now listen to this.
Might be.
Coach Bryant had to wear a helmet on the field and off the field because the Georgia Tech. Now you would think Georgia Tech would be more sophisticated than this. Because they were throwing whiskey bottles at it.
Was that because of the Granning incident?
Yeah, well, it was probably after the Granning incident.
It was after. It's the year after. You're right.
Dad had to wear a helmet.
Dad was on the field when the Granning incident happened.
The chick Granning incident. Y'all know
a story about that? Why do they have the crazy rule where freshmen couldn't play? That was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
Well, that's where it was for a long time. Marvin Barron, the great one out of Charles Henderson, I remember he was a big, he started and was the captain of the freshman team.
Stacy Granning's husband is kin to him.
Y'all know when that rule changed?
Ozzie Newsome was the first player that started it.
Why it changed?
No, I don't know.
It was in the early 70s.
Well, it was Wilbur was signed at Alabama, and he was a freshman, and he couldn't play. That was the last year freshmen couldn't play. But that year, the Marshall football team got killed in an airplane crash, and they decided to change the rules so Marshall could field the team the next year.
And that's the rest of the story. That is great journalism right there.
That is what started the freshmen being able to play.
You do some research on that, right, to see if that is exactly the way it is.
Was that like that just in football? As a basketball player, did you have to sit out a year in baseball as well?
You had to sit out a year. You had to sit out a year in basketball too.
Yeah, if I can remember, back when Vandy was really good, they had a boy from Ozark named Glenn Butler, and that Glenn.
I remember Glenn went to Montevallo, Alabama College.
He went to Vandy.
Oh, okay. Now his brother went to Alabama College.
That's Ralph. That's his older brother.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, but Glenn played at Vandy. Well, they had a great freshman team that was better than the varsity team, and they had five-star players recruited.
Yeah.
Dad said that his freshman year they scrimmaged the varsity and beat them, the freshmen. Now he did say that it was after a tough practice, and those varsity players were all beat up and tired, and the freshman players were not.
It's so easy to remember Vanderbilt basketball back then. They had a guy, they had Fosnes, Fear, and Ford, and Bolitnikov. I don't know who the other guy was, but the main four guys were Fosness, Fear, and Ford, and then Bolitnikov. Is that right?
It was Jan Van Bredikov.
Yeah, and then he was a coach.
I got your answer here. It says freshmen were not eligible for any sport until 1968 when the NCAA allowed them to compete in all sports but football and basketball. 4 years later, with the institution of Title IX, that changed and all freshmen became eligible for competition during the 72-73 academic year.
1968. Excellent journalism.
But in football and basketball, it didn't happen until 72.
72.
So Ozzie Newsome would have been a freshman in 70. I remember he was the first freshman that really played a lot.
Somebody told me Ozzie Newsome would have been an All-American basketball player. They said he was a great high school basketball player too.
You know who was from his same town?
Yeah.
Ron Ingram told me this.
I know who. Former Auburn quarterback. What was his name?
Or from the same county anyway. Leon Douglas that played basketball at Alabama.
Yeah, I think he was from.
I think they played basketball together. You talk about a team. Ozzie Newsome and Leon Douglas.
Where were they from?
Colbert County or?
Colbert County or Leighton. They lived in Leighton, Alabama.
Leighton.
Yeah,
I've actually been to that high school.
Yeah, I think there was one other great that was from that same county.
Auburn had a wishbone quarterback that came out of there. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was thinking about freshmen not being eligible. Who it really impacted, the one that stands out to me is Pistol Pete Maravich. Could not play his freshman year. Had to play on the JV freshman team. When his dad was the coach at LSU. Yeah. But think of how many points he would have scored if he would have, because he would have averaged 40 points a game as a freshman.
That's right. Gargis, y'all remember Philip Gargis?
Yes, I remember.
Quarterback at Auburn?
Yes.
He came out of Leighton High School, Colbert County High School of Leighton.
All the Langhams and the Goods came from Town Creek.
Boy, the Langhams and the Goods. Boy, that's your all-American family right there. The Langhams and the Goods. Were they cousins or what were they?
Cousins.
First cousins. And for some reason, every one of them went to Alabama.
Yeah, only two
of them. Why? And we're talking about probably the most, I would say maybe the most prolific family ever in Alabama.
That's good.
Well, there's a lot of Castiles that played at Alabama.
Pierre Good was the first one, and he held a record for the longest touchdown pass.
No, Kerry Good was the first.
Kerry came. Wait a minute. I think
Pierre
I got you
Pierre was his little brother.
Rice. I think I got Rice on this one.
Pierre had the longest receiving touchdown.
98 yards.
Pierre was the big hotshot prospect, but he wasn't near as good as Kerry. Kerry got hurt his sophomore year against Boston College when he was having an unbelievable game. And
check that out right there. See which one came first.
The guy that played the longest in the pros was Chris Good.
Yeah, he was a walk-on and obscure, but he did end up having the longest pro career.
And then Langham, those Langham boys were good too.
What's the greatest Alabama families? Would you have to say the Hannahs?
The Hannahs.
I'm gonna tell you right now, though.
The Hannahs, you got the Neighbors.
The Neighbors, but you had the Elmores. You had J.T. Elmore. You had Albert Elmore. You had Grady Elmore Jr. You had Ronnie Elmore played. You had Doug Elmore, the quarterback at Ole Miss.
You would have to name a family that had at least three people that went, and the Hannahs had John Hannah, Charlie Hannah. They were both fantastic players. John Hannah's the best offensive lineman ever.
Yeah, no question.
And then their baby brother David Hannah wasn't bad, and so they were three starters that played for Alabama.
David wasn't a bad player either. You're right.
The Castiles were Daddy, Jeremiah, and then Simeon was a defensive back, was pretty good, and then fullback Tim. So
all three of them played in the NFL.
Yeah, so they'd be right in the conversation.
Yeah, but it's amazing how we can get off on these subjects, but we're having fun.
The Brits from Coleman had, I think, three players that Jarrett.
Who now?
the Britts.
Wesley Britt and his brother Justin Britt.
And one more
there
came.
Was several Britts.
When Alabama won the national championship, let's see in what year, there were 3 players that came out of Coleman. You remember those guys?
No.
Leslie Kelly. You ever heard of the great Leslie Kelly?
Mm-hmm. He played with
have you ever heard of, what was the great one? Tremble.
Pat Trumbull? I don't know.
No, Trouble.
Starts with a T. I missed one. And then there was other lineman. There were 3 players off that team that started at Alabama. Now, Ozark had the same situation with the 3 that they had. Ozark had, of course,
Wilbur
Jackson, Dexter Wood, and Ellis Beck.
Yeah.
All 3 of those guys started at Alabama on the same team, and they came from Carroll High School of Ozark.
Alabama's and Auburn's teams were full of small-town players.
Number-wise, it's probably the Goons. When you say the Goons, wasn't there like 4 or 5 Goons?
There were a bunch of Goons. It sure was, too.
Well, there was Carey, who would have been a Heisman candidate if he hadn't got hurt. Pierre was the number 1 prospect. He never really lived up to expectations. Yeah. And then their little brother that walked on that ended up being a great defensive back, Chris. That's the 3 I remember.
I thought there was a Clyde Goon, but maybe I'm wrong.
It was a Clyde Goon.
I bet he was on the team and didn't play much. So there were 4, and then their first cousin, Antonio Langham.
Oh, gosh. That's right. That's where Antonio Langham came from.
Who was one of the best defensive backs ever at Alabama, but he also was the guy that got Alabama.
Signed a cocktail napkin, the dumbest story.
They got Alabama busted. Cost Alabama.
I mean, you can only think about what these guys probably really did do back in the day, but signing a cocktail napkin, that story, that makes no sense.
Y'all have just answered my question. Town Creek, ladies and gentlemen, Town Creek, Alabama is the most prolific little town in Alabama sports history. Would y'all say that?
Well, let's talk about Little Brundage. Let's talk about Little Brundage, Alabama, and name them.
Pike County Hospital, pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's name Fred Baxter,
Cornelius
Griffin, 2 NFL and college stars. Quincy Jackson. Who was the big tight end that played for Alabama for?
Oh, the great one.
Nick Walker.
Then the other tight
end. Stephen Wilson played at Alabama for 4 years.
Yeah, they had a great group.
Chris Nixon played at Vandy.
Chris Nixon, that's 6. Played at SEC.
Stephen Coleman played at Troy.
And he was Mr. Football in Alabama.
Uh-huh.
So was Nixon.
You also got the guys back in the 70s or 60s played at Auburn. The Bowden guy, didn't he?
Oh, Randy Walls, too.
Oh, yeah. Alec Bowden, yeah. Randy Walls.
So that's pretty impressive. Brundage has so many more SEC athletes than Troy.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even funny.
No question about it. And, of course, this next Friday, the 10th, they're starting to really promote Friday, April the 9th through Sunday, April the 11th at Troy University, where they've got some wonderful baseball, softball, and football to be played. And then it goes all the way through Sunday. Of course, T-Day is at 1 o'clock, Saturday the 10th, and that's going to be a great opportunity to get out and see what kind of team Troy's going to have in the future. And then they'll have softball and baseball going on the same afternoon at 3 and 4. And then Sunday, softball and baseball. It's going to be a great weekend to get your friends to come to Troy to get ready for the coming football season right here at Troy University.
It's a challenging schedule, but it's one that if you can win a couple of those games, you can make a real big splash. And when you got 20 players coming back, you ought to have a chance to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Mike, did we ever get your brackets?
Yeah, I sent them to Forrest.
All right. So we're gonna be working on those brackets this week. See who won.
I've only got 2 teams left.
Well, that's better than all of us, probably.
Back talking.
Hey, Forrest, did you ever find out any information on Richard McBride at SMU? Is he going to the draft, or is he going to come back for a 7th season?
I don't know. Let's see.
7th season, Mike? That's a record. 7th season's got to be a record.
Yeah.
Well, this is the 6th season last year.
He could have a 7th. You're right. There's a couple players that could do that.
Oh, it would be good to find out how he's doing. Maybe you can call him on the phone, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Well, I mean, he had such two really great years with over 100 tackles. It makes me wonder if he's going to try to, go to the. I don't know if he'll be drafted, but he might be a free agent.
You mean he made over 100 tackles 2 years in a row?
Yeah, at SMU.
He did that well at SMU. Man, oh man, that is something.
Yeah, he was declared medically ineligible at Auburn.
Yeah.
At the last minute.
Troy couldn't get him eligible either.
Yeah.
They tried.
Found SMU that took him in, and I'll tell you what. We talk about Rich.
Yeah,
Schools.
he's not on the roster anymore, so I guess 6 years is enough.
Yeah.
We talk about Rich Schools. Rice would be one. SMU would be one. Tell us some other schools that could buy most any player they wanted. But I know those two teams out of Texas probably could. You would think Rice would be good every year about the money they have.
I think Liberty's buying a lot of players.
Yeah, Liberty.
I've got an article on Richard. It says, this is dated the 25th of February by Jimmy Williams. The NFL draft, it says Richard McBride's entering the NFL draft.
All right.
That's what it says. If he's not drafted, I'm sure
he
might could sign a free agent.
He's the type of guy. He's the type of guy that could make a team by being a really good player on the special teams.
And that is the reason. And of course, more. We need to get him on the air because
he's probably 23.
He's got a real story to tell.
He's about 23. I think.
Rice, that's a good story right there.
It is. I mean, he was coaching at Charles Henderson High School.
Once I'll start a Charles Henderson Hall of Fame. I don't even know if the Charles Henderson even has a Hall of Fame for athletes.
Well, I tell you,
that would be good.
It would be good.
A lot of other schools have it.
There are a lot of great ones that come out of Charles Henderson High School of Troy. I was sitting at a ball game the other day.
Or you can make it Troy or Pike County. Make it Pike County.
And I heard these guys talking back and forth. He talking and bragging about Andalusia and talking about all those old teams there. And I told him, I said, listen, I'm for Charles Henderson High School of Troy, and I'm awfully proud of it. You can have all your Andalusians, you can have all your Gratefuls and Ozarks. Listen, I am a Charles Henderson High School graduate and so proud of it.
You were talking about...
Yeah, Bill Rice Sr. go to Alabama.
Marvin Barron went to Alabama.
Marvin Barron went to Alabama.
Marlowe.
Bobby Marlowe.
The great Bobby Marlowe.
Name him first.
Vaughn Ewing went to Alabama, and then you had Kincaid went to Auburn, McBride went to Auburn, Etheridge went to Auburn, Rara White went to Auburn.
Corey Dennis went to Georgia Tech.
Yeah, Corey Dennis to Georgia Tech.
Brian Thomas signed with Georgia Tech. Richard Calhoun signed with Vanderbilt.
That's right. Played at Vanderbilt.
Charles Bradshaw signed at Florida and played 1 year in Florida.
Bradshaw played at Florida.
You know who my friend Charles had to go up against in practice every day at Florida? One Wilbur Marshall.
Oh gosh.
Who was a mean son of a gun.
I went up against Lynn Johnson from Dozier.
Yeah,
I played for the Bears. He was on those great Bears defensive teams.
It's fun to sort of throw these names. Lynn Johnson's the only player from
Dozier.
Dozier, I think, has ever made it. I think.
Didn't you play with another guy that played at Florida? You grew up with?
Oh, Bill Price. Bill Price played 4 years at Florida. Yeah, Bill Price. Of course, a lot of
Justin
people
Green played
back
at
in
Vanderbilt.
the '60s, mid-'60s. Remember Bill Price?
How did somebody
Michael Brown played at Southern Miss.
He went to Chattanooga. He signed with Chattanooga. Hey, he could have done anything he wanted to. I'd put Big John Pouncey up physically back then, 6'6", 6'8", somewhere in between. And he weighed at least 300 pounds, and that was back in the mid-'60s.
Yeah, Mike Pelton went to Auburn.
Mike Helton, yeah, he was.
Ricky Bray went to the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Who was that?
Ricky Bray.
Yeah, okay.
James Jones played at Troy.
Lott had played at Southern Miss. Ton had played at Troy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Southern Miss had a Charleston and pipeline.
Yeah.
Terrell Paul's one player I remember.
Terrell Paul was a good football player. Went to Southern. You know, if we had been Division I back then, we probably would have been able to hold on to him. But he went to
Southern Miss.
And
hadn't started for 3 years. I think.
I know Troy turned Division I in 2001.
There was another big.
Paul was that old.
I don't know. There was another real big lineman went to Southern Miss.
Micah Brown.
Yeah,
no,
Brown.
No, big. I'm talking about a real big guy. Michael
Brown Richard Green that played with Bobby.
Richard Green. Richard Green. I bet he weighed close to 300 pounds, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he started and played some.
Played there too. It's amazing, as you think about it. Of course, Brantley, Titletown, I'm sure has had a few, but probably our State Farm agent from downtown Andalusia is one of the greats that played at Brantley.
Tim Bryan.
Tim Bryan. You're exactly right, my friend. And Tim was a good one. His son was a good one. His son played here at Troy.
The guy that works at Bearfield played at Alabama.
Where's he?
Bogalusa?
Oh no, he played at Alabama. Yeah, heck yeah, he played at Alabama. Bogalusa Rifle.
Everybody calls Coach Saban the GOAT, and he probably is the greatest of all time. But the more I think about it, it's recruiting that's done it for Coach Saban, and Coach Bryant had all these fantastic teams and runs, and who was he doing it with? People from Bogalusa and Coleman and Troy and Ozark. These weren't five-star national recruits.
Elkhart, Indiana. Y'all know who played at Elkhart, Indiana, Mike?
Bracky.
Who?
Wingo.
Rich Wingo. Rice gets it. Rice gets a cup of coffee this morning.
Alan and Vicki Jones' brother-in-law.
And also another one.
He played. I remember when he would come to the First Baptist Church when he was still playing for the Packers.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this. Another great one out of Elkhart was who? Do y'all remember that? He threw the halfback pass. Y'all know that answer. He threw the halfback pass to Richard Todd against.
You said it the other day. Well, who was it? Not Beck, but
Mike Stock.
Yeah.
From Elkhart, same place that I think I want to say the same place. Our guy.
Well, you think about a player like Joe Namath coming to Alabama. Alabama had no idea about Joe Namath. Back then, you didn't have these recruiting services and internet and TV. So when you sign somebody like that, it's based on the testimonial of one person who calls you that you trust. And then that was that. Yeah. But Alabama would have never recruited. It wouldn't have been worth their time. They wouldn't have the money to go after some kid in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't Barry Krause also from Indiana?
No, he's from Florida.
No, Barry Krause. Barry Krause was from up north.
He played for the Colts, yeah.
But Barry Krause was from.
He played high school football in Central Florida, I think. Marty Lyons.
Marty Lyons came out of Florida too.
Alabama did get a few great players from out of state, like Barry Krause, Marty Lyons. Dwight Stevenson was from Virginia. Is the best center I've ever seen.
The great goal line stand had what names, Mike? The great goal line stands against Penn State.
I can name them.
Murray Leg, Rich Wingo, Barry
Krause.
I want to say Don McNeil was on the top.
Let's see. Rich Wingo. Well, you had Murray Leg. You had
Rich Wingo, Barry Krause,
and Marty Lyons. That was it. That was a goal line stand.
Well, Byron Braggs
and I tell you who was in the middle of it. Y'all know who had the headgear right in his gut. I mean, right there in his chest. Krause made the real initial leg.
There was a cornerback though. That's a great story that he hadn't played much in his career, but he hit a great spurt at the end of the season, and he ended up starting the last couple games. You look at that play, he comes off the edge and he gets the foot of Gooman right before he jumps up and kind of disrupts it. I can't remember the guy. He's lost. He should be better known.
Yeah, of course.
And David Hanna, who was a Sigma Nu, the baby of the Hanna brothers, was in on that play.
And, you know, there was another linebacker at Alabama that doesn't get near as much applaud as he should have. You know, one of them, one great linebacker was former defense coordinator at Auburn. What's his name, Mike?
Wayne Hall.
Wayne Hall. Hey, that Wayne Hall was a heck of a linebacker, and that's what I was trying to think about. They were talking about all these other guys, but Wayne Hall was a great linebacker.
Somebody would write an article about, because, you know, he was like the biggest, probably the best defense coordinator in the country at Auburn. Then he just disappeared, became a contractor, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. He got out of coaching awfully early, and Wayne Hall was I tell you this, me being an Alabama fan back then, and then Auburn, Alabama and Auburn, man, his defenses scared me to death. Because they were rough, buddy. They were hard nosed.
Yeah,
and he was real hard nosed guy.
I got the rest of the story about Joe Namath at Maryland.
All right,
or
go
part
ahead.
of it. It says he was heavily recruited by Maryland assistant coach Roland Aragoni, Arrigoni.
Yeah.
But he was rejected because of low scores. He just barely missed
Qualifying.
qualifying. But a Roland Aragoni.
No telling what that could have done for Maryland. He could have made, not only could they got Namath, they could have probably after that got some of the greatest quarterbacks in history. You know, if he had gone to Maryland.
He received offers to play pro baseball as well.
Yeah,
His idol was Roberto Clemente.
Was it really?
That's what it says here.
Well, he gave Alabama some some glitz and glamour they hadn't had. He was a star that enhanced the brand and the image of it. So he helped Alabama even after he was gone.
I want to mention one thing before we get off this subject. Colin McRae was an All-American while a member of the Troy University golf team. He earned multiple all-conference selections and All-American status in golf. And of course, one of the great amateur golfers. After that, and then of course he played on all
kind of tournaments, amateur
teams that won national championships at Troy. He was a true All-American, ladies and gentlemen. Colin McRae, and this is your life right here on Today in L.A. Congratulations, Colin McRae.
Well, I talked to Mike Griffin, his coach, that made Troy golf a dynasty, really, or a powerhouse,
yeah.
And he also said Colin was one of the finest citizens and people he's ever coached.
Well, and what he's done, you're exactly right. For so many things, especially golf at Troy, but in other sports and in other, treated his own son with the greatest class I think I can ever remember.
And we can have him on to talk about stocks.
Oh yeah, exactly. No question about it. And he's a great one.
He's a Wells Fargo advisor.
Wells Fargo advisors, and they're part of our
I brought in the car the other day with a guy from Memphis. He was trying to sell his bourbon down here, and he was on his phone the whole time, like hitting buttons. And I was like, man, you gotta pay attention to the road. And he's like, man, I've got to buy some stocks and trade some stocks. And he was telling me about all this stuff he had going on, and I was just like, man, this guy was like seriously into doing stocks.
Yeah, he must have been a day trader.
Well, the stock market, the gains
in
the stock market over the last 15 years are mind-boggling. There are people that have so much wealth, and I've heard that house prices are soaring in these livable cities and places everybody wants to live. And you know what most people do? They get the houses they want. They're cash offers. They buy these $2 million, $3 million, $10 million houses with cash.
Yeah.
And I guarantee it that where are they getting all this cash? They're selling some of those stocks that have doubled and doubled and doubled again in the last.
Right. Well, it's been a lot of fun, and of course we have a lot of fun on this show, just talking back and forth. We don't create. We're gonna have Johnny Williams, I promise you, on this. To tell you a lot that's going on.
What are you talking about, man? We prepped for hours before this show.
And what now?
I said we did prep work for hours before we started.
Oh yeah. Everybody knows this is laid back as it can be. Hope you've enjoyed our show today with these two guys to my left and Michael on Zoom. from Drayton Beach, and of course Bill Rice and Forrest Lee, and we appreciate them very much. We'll see you tomorrow.